Oil's Well That Ends Well digs up some trouble. Directed by Paul Abascal, written by Scott Nimmerfro, and shot by Levi Isaacs. Based on a story from Tales from the Crypt number 34, drawn by George Evans. This is one plot that double-crosses itself into an early grave. As Jerry digs in the cemetery, Gina gets to know him with questions. Lots of questions. At last, their accomplice, Larry, emerges from a coffin, $20,000 in hand for the three of them. Upset by Jerry and Gina's lovey-dovey talk, when they should be focusing on helping him up, Larry gives the lady a piece of his mind.
But when I'm in that box, you better be concentrated 100% on digging me up ASAP, or I'll come back from the dead. And I'll rip your head off and I'll shit down your fucking throat. You got that, you flea-bitten hose bag? Do I make myself clear?
Back in the ground he goes. Jerry wants to blow the money in Vegas. Gina says they need to work smarter.
Baby. I got this money earmarked for a kick-ass mutual fund.
What? Come on, you're shitting me, right?
I got all my money in it. $82,000 earning 19% on every penny. Don't let anybody bullshit you, baby. You gotta make your money work for you.
Back to work. Sam and Phil gaze upon a small town from the highway. They can't wait to take this town for all it's got. Not before Sam reminds Phil to put out his cigarette. It makes him look dishonest. Arriving at the hotel, Sam unloads the luggage, while Phil introduces themselves as oil surveyors to the desk clerk. The clerk is curious if they're looking for oil in his town. At the bar, Mr. Petermeyer and his son, Cardi, have a good time. Gina comes in, buying around for the house. Cardi puts the moves on her, but she shows him some moves of her own. Gina puts on a whole show for the men at the table, ranting about how the business she's in keeps screwing her over. Petermeyer is curious about her line of work. She's in the oil business. Jerry barges in.
Damn it. I knew I'd find you here. You need to get on the phone with Lesher and Malcolm, pronto. I'm telling you it's deep, but it looks to me like we found...
What? Found what, Jerry? Oil?
I need to speak to you in private, Miss Snow.
He's found oil, boys. Oil? He has found oil. Oil.
He found oil in the town, but can't say where. Gina offers him $5,000 to give her the info instead of to the company. She even riles up the men to pitch in $5,000 each of their own to join in. Jerry can't resist 25 G's. Everyone celebrates, but that oil is under the cemetery. That night, Phil entices the hotel staff with stories of his commissions and the expensive equipment required to drill for himself. He'd have to borrow money to go into business on his own. That's when Sam rushes in with news of oil in the town. As word of mouth spreads the news, Sam reminds Phil to ditch the cigarette. The lobby is filled when our two con men address the people. They inform the mayor that oil was found under the park. Everyone is ecstatic by the black puddle, unbeknownst to them, placed there by Sam. The mayor can either turn the land over to the oil company or drill it himself through Phil and Sam's services for $60,000. Everyone scopes out the land at the cemetery. Jerry and Gina barely contain their excitement, but she may be a little jealous of the local waitress. After some explaining, Jerry and Gina's marks are impressed by the fake oil Jerry placed. Unfortunately, it's under city property. The businessmen weigh their options, while Jerry wants his payoff. At the bar, the waitress flirts with Jerry. Petermeyer and company walk in with 20 grand. Not quite Jerry's money yet.
What's going on?
Change of plan.
What is this bullshit? I'm calling Beavis Oil right now. Sit down. The money's still yours. If your lady friend does us a little favor. Oh, screw that.
Shut up, Jerry.
They won't move on the cemetery and its surrounding land unless Gina comes up with a fifth of the needed funds, $72,000. Jerry objects, but Gina agrees. The town votes to drill for themselves and form their own corporation. Sam and Phil could not be happier. Once the money is handed over to them, they can put their plan into motion. Each townsperson purchases their shares of stock until the 60 grand is raised. Phil thinks it's time to take the money and run, but Sam wants to keep their usual cemetery routine. To make sure Phil doesn't forget to dig him up on the way out of town, Sam hides the money. Jerry insists they leave town. Gina believes he's jealous of her big risk. He walks out. The next morning, Petermeyer and the others have Jerry tied up for stealing their money. Cardi spied on Gina and Jerry's fight last night and eventually tracked him down to the waitress's house. Gina gets down to business, filling a hypodermic needle with acid. As she grabs Jerry by the hair, Petermeyer tells her that Jerry hid all the money somewhere and elaborates on the details of his affair. Gina plunges the needle right into Jerry's heart. Time to bury Jerry. The mayor has bad news for Phil. Sam faked the oil findings, took the drilling money, and ran off. The search for the thief turns up his convertible, with Sam dead inside. The money is nowhere to be found. He must have hidden it. Phil convinces the town he's just as much of a victim as they are. He claims Sam's body to give him a decent burial. Of course, he opted not to have his partner embalmed. The sedated Sam wakes up in the buried coffin. A thick, smelly liquid seeps into the box, rising by the hour. He's getting worried if Phil will dig him up in time. Within the span of Sam's last breath, Phil finishes digging up his partner. Sam is covered in oil. They actually found oil. They'll be rich. Until Phil's cigarette falls into the ooze. Gina is digging up Jerry when Jerry appears behind her.
I don't understand. If you're up there, then...
What's happening, babe? Well, what can I say, Gina? The oil surveyor is a three-man con.
Damn it, Carl! Where's the money? Why didn't you tell me he was in on this?
Because, like he said, the oil surveyor's a three-man con. Nice to see you again, Gina. Blanks, just like before.
Everybody was in on this. Gina's been conned out of all her money and is headed for an early grave. As the boys help Cardi out of the hole, they find oil on his shoe. Real oil. Gina doesn't take kindly to this. If she's gonna go out, she's going out with a bang.
Today's been a real bitch.
Oh, shit!
The episode offers enough info for us to figure out what Jerry and Gina are up to as the story progresses, while at the same time trying to fool us. This writing strategy did not pay off well. A brief scene of Gina and Jerry plotting together, letting us in on the action, would have brought us along for the ride. If we explicitly know what their alleged plan is, then we can feel something when there's supposedly a hitch. Instead, we're kept at a distance, never truly knowing what's part of the plan, ultimately deflating the impact of Jerry's eventual double-cross. Simplicity is a heist plot's best friend, and the original tale accomplishes this better. Sam always reminding Phil to stop smoking because it makes him look like a con artist sets us up to expect the townspeople will discover their fiendish plan, when in fact Phil's habit does them both in. I enjoyed the comic more, but its explosive climax is played for a joke, whereas Gina's blaze of glory just feels so satisfying. Even if the events leading up to the big boom didn't impress me. Lou Diamond Phillips and Priscilla Presley are very energetic in their roles. The small-town businessmen are a group of good old boys who get the job done. John Cassier, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, makes an in-person appearance at the bookends of the tale, even sneaking in his famous laugh. The actors keep the episode entertaining, but the writing, in an attempt to be more clever than needed, let the cast down. I guess oil's not well that ends well.